Excel's menu system, pictured at the top of the screen here, consists of a series of tabs followed by a group of icons. The entire menu system is referred to as the ribbon. Now, it can be intimidating if you worry about all the different buttons and how you're going to be using this one or that one. Do I have to know this one? It's good to get familiar with a few of these, but not obsess or worry too much about how many there are. The most common tab that you'll be seeing on your screen as you work with Excel is going to be the Home tab. It's got a lot of formatting tools available on the left side here, including some related to numbers, some additional command type features to the right. There will be a few of these you'll never touch, others you will use frequently. Without going through all these, but just briefly looking at a few of them, the Insert tab you can quickly see includes some choices related to pivot tables, which you might have heard about, a section here on charts, something called sparklines, another kind of chart type, some filtering options, and some other features. Page layout, as you might guess, has a lot to do with printing, but also some other features as you're working with objects possibly and visuals. Formulas tab has a lot to do with formulas and a lot to do with functions, which are built-in formulas, capsule definition, and some other features here as well too. The Data tab contains some all-important data management tools, like sorting and filtering and inserting some subtotals, and certainly some other features related to data management. Review tab you probably will not use as often, at least for a while, but you can see some of the features listed here, spell check, some protection features. And a View tab has a lot to do with some of the visuals. And again, as you slide over and look at these buttons, keep in mind, many of them you won't be using just yet. Some you'll use more often than others. I'm going to slide over this. What does that say? Pop-up tips help us at different times. Sometimes it whets our appetite. At other times, it's simply something, well, I'm not sure what that means. Maybe I'll get to it later. But it is helpful as we look at the data here. Now, one of the tabs up here is different than the others. It's the File tab. I'm going to point with the mouse and click it. This takes us to what Microsoft calls the backstage view. Instead of handling information on an actual worksheet, what we're seeing here, for the most part, are features that have to do with file management, although print is here also. If we wanted to print this, we get some idea of what that's about to look like. And this is a feature relating, you might say, to the externals of the data you're working with. We might want to open a different file or save this. We can get back into our standard use of Excel by either pressing Escape or this left arrow. You'll also notice too that on some of the tabs, I'm going to click Home again, since this is the most commonly viewed tab. In the lower right-hand corner of different sections here, you'll see little arrows. Here's one for font. Click this, as I'm doing here, and you'll see a dialog box. And this looks similar to features you might have seen in older versions of Excel. Those little buttons, by the way, are sometimes called dialog box launchers. That's what Microsoft calls them. But they expose us to different features that we might not be seeing here on the Home tab. Keep in mind, there are many, many popular features here on the Home tab, but in the font group, we see one of these little arrows. We also see one on the alignment group, one on the number group right here as well. We're more likely to see these on the Home tab than on some of the other tabs, but they take us behind the scenes to get to other features that are not as frequently used, let's say. So, for example, if we go to Insert, we don't see these except for charts. On Page Layout, we see one here, one there, and so on. So these get us back behind the scenes, so to speak. In the upper right, you'll see a choice related to how we view the tabs in the ribbon display options. The default view is what we're seeing right now, and throughout this course, you will see Show Tabs in Command. This is the default. We are now seeing the ribbon and the tabs on top of it. If we only want to show tabs, and I'm going to click this right here with the left mouse button, we are just seeing the tabs. Now, we might want to work with the data this way for a while. Why? Maybe we're making a presentation. We want the focus to be on the data. We are seeing a few more rows. That's another advantage. How do we get back those ribbon icons? Upper right corner, click that button again. We can show tabs and commands. There's another option there where we can hide the entire ribbon, including the tabs. Ribbon display options, auto hide ribbon. And we don't see any of the command menu features at all at the top of the screen here. How do we get back? Slide to the very top of the screen and click. And there we are. And we can click here. Now notice how it disappears again. So click again. And if you want it to stay, go back to that button, Ribbon Display Options, and choose Show Tabs and Commands or Show Tabs, whatever you wish. So we have the ability to move that out of the way from time to time. But again, the main idea as we work with Excel, we will be using many, many features. I think for most users, the Home tab is likely to be visible much of the time, well over half the time. And at different times, we do need to use other features. We click on different tabs and see some of the many options available there. The Excel ribbon menu system, very visual. Remember, anytime you slide over a button, a pop-up tip reminds you or explains to you what that button is used for. And if that were not enough, you can click the Tell Me More button and get a help screen to learn more about that particular feature.